Hello and welcome to Animal Watch, and today we're going to be meeting some very special dogs down under. Australia is a beautiful country, home to some of the world's most unusual animals. One canid that Animal Watch has been dying to cover is the dingo. Greenwell TV's Australian correspondent Pascale drops into one very special place that rescues these very same animals.
Hi, I'm Pascale from World Animal Warriors reporting for Greenwell TV, and today I'm here in Sydney, Australia at the Dingo Den Sanctuary, and I'm about to spend the day inside with Joshua Sage, the founder, to learn about the amazing and groundbreaking conservation work he is doing for the dingoes here in Australia. I'm so excited to be here and I can't wait to get inside and check everything out. Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, I'm Pascale.
Hey, Pascale. Josh, nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Hello, guys. Oh my gosh, you're so cute. Hey. Oh my goodness, what a great greeting this is, huh? Hey, guys. Hey. Wow. Is this the standard greeting you get with all the dingoes when you come home?
Come up and say hello.
Hello.
What is it?
Hello. Oh, I love you too. Thank you for the cuddle. Thanks. Hello, sweetheart. Hey.
Come on, guys.
Come on. Come on.
Come on, let's go.
Look at that. So Joshua, I mean, what you have achieved here is incredible. I'm dying to know how it all started and what was the catalyst for you for wanting to help the beloved dingo?
Yeah. Well, I had my own dingo, and from there I wanted to help provide people with information about dingo care, because it can be quite challenging on knowing how to care for a dingo appropriately. Mm-hmm. So I created a website, and then from there people started contacting me for help with rehoming their dingoes. So the need kept on coming. At which point I decided to create a charity to assist these guys in help rehoming and rehabilitation.
Wow. And Dingo Den was born.
It was born, yeah.
So do you rescue and rehabilitate both domestic dingoes and wild dingoes?
That's right, yeah. So look, the dingoes come from all over Australia, from a variety of different settings. Some are from pounds, some are private releases, private surrenders.
Yeah.
And the others are wild-born pups that are orphaned. Parents have been killed, and we take them in at the sanctuary here and rehabilitate them with the rest of the dingoes that we have.
So right now we're in the Dingo Puppy Den, and as you can see we have a beautiful puppy dingo. What is this puppy's name?
Cool. So her name's Adina.
Adina.
Which is a Aboriginal word meaning beautiful.
She really is beautiful, isn't she? Look at her.
So she was a little orphan. Her parents were believed they were killed.
How are they killed, do you know?
Probably baiting.
Right.
It's hard to always know. Look, people just find little pups starving, which she was one of them. And yeah, usually it's the same stuff. It's either the parents have either been shot or they've been baited.
Wow.
These little guys are a result. They're starving, and then people find them outside of the dens looking for mum and dad.
Sure.
Can't find them, and people can be lucky enough to pick them up. And then we rehabilitate them. So they come in skin and bone, much smaller than this.
Yeah,
and
I can imagine.
they very quickly, they'll double their weight in a month or so.
Wow.
They bulk up really quickly, they grow really fast.
With the right care from you, obviously.
Yeah, we've got a really good natural diet that we feed particularly the wild boars, and how we set things up for them. So it just replicates how the parents would feed them.
Sure.
And it works really well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And what's the story when it comes to a time where a dingo comes and they have been rehabilitated? Can you release into the wild? Is it feasible? Is it possible?
Yeah. Look, it's not great. Australia isn't a dingo-friendly place.
Yeah.
So the circumstances that got a wild dingo to come to the sanctuary, which would be the parents are being killed through baiting, trapping, shooting, etc., would be putting them back into that scenario.
Into the environment.
So we don't release them. Ideally, what we want to do for wild dingoes is either humanise them to a point where they can go into homes. My preferred is to try to find places where they can live a natural lifestyle on someone's property, somebody's got acreage that's fenced, that's appropriate, that they understand dingoes, so they can live like a natural lifestyle in that environment. That's a great goal. Otherwise, we have the domestic dingoes, and they're captive born, and they remain in captivity. So they are loving family pets.
Yeah.
So they'll stay in homes with other people.
Okay.
So we rehab them, and then people will adopt them as you would a dog.
Yeah.
And they care for them, and we give them training, make sure they understand what a dingo needs
Yeah.
in regards to diet, sort of correct housing, fencing, enrichment. It works really well.
Okay. And you were saying Australia is not a very dingo-friendly environment. So just to touch on that, what are the misconceptions about dingoes that Australians have?
Look, probably the main one is that they're very aggressive.
Yeah.
They can't be trusted. They're not like that. They are, as a natural animal, their main response is to flight. They
Yeah.
don't want they want conflict. So they're typically not aggressive with people
Yeah.
unless they're in sort of the scenarios where
Where
there's
they
a
need to be
lot of
on.
close, human dingo interaction that's unnatural.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have issues there. But as a whole, I mean, in a domestic setting, dingoes they're friendly, they're loyal. People trust them. I know people trust them more than their other dogs.
Yeah.
Where I've got a friend who she's got a kelpie and she's got dingoes. The kelpie gets really wiry and gets too excited around her little daughters.
Yeah.
The dingo will intervene in between the kelpie and the kids and push the kelpie out of the room.
Yeah.
So they actually get really protective, and that they can be. Look, they're great. They're great animals.
Yeah.
You just have to know what to do with them, how to care for them appropriately. They are different to a dog.
Yeah.
I like to say that they're in between a cat and a dog in their mannerisms. People who understand horses and livestock and animals that are a bit flighty
Yeah.
will typically understand dingoes really well.
Wow.
Yeah, they're not a dog, so you
Yeah.
have to understand that to be able to care for them appropriately.
Yeah, they're a special species.
That's right.
Touching on dingoes versus dogs, what are your thoughts on hybridisation? I know that there are quite a lot of mixed breeds in Australia, half dingo, half dog. What are your thoughts
Yeah.
on that? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Does it affect the species of a dingo?
Yeah, look, it's not an ideal.
Yeah.
You want a natural species in the wild. There are a lot of discussions around hybridisation in the wild. Look, Australia's changed. There's a lot of feral animals in Australia now which weren't there naturally. Those animals have fat content that pure dingoes can't digest. So there's sort of discussion around that hybridisation for dingoes could be the next evolutionary step, so they can
Wow.
survive off all the animals that are out there, and they also manage those animals. But look, in saying that, ideally we want pure dingoes in the wild. In captivity, it's not recommended. You don't really want to cross them, and I'm not big on domestic breeding for dingoes. Like in
Sure.
captivity, I'd much prefer that we see breeding programs for dingoes to be in the wild once
Yeah.
we establish a safe environment for
Exactly.
Australia. And the ones that are in captivity, that are hybridised, care for them, love them, give them a good home.
Of course.
Not an advocate for for generational breeding or that sort of stuff. It's we just help the animals out that need the
That
help.
need the help,
Yeah.
sure. And what are some of the biggest threats that dingoes are facing at the moment?
Look, it's human persecution.
Yeah.
So dingoes are still listed as a pest species.
That seems crazy to me that they are listed as a pest.
And look, it's a historic thing. It's from
Yeah.
settlement times. It hasn't been changed. There's bounty money on them, so people can earn an income from killing dingoes. That's
Wow.
government funded. So it's shooting, trapping, baiting. There's a whole range of things that are out there against them, and it just destroys the dingo packs. And then with that, when the packs sort of or torn apart,
Yeah.
they're struggling to survive. Then you also end up with increased attacks on livestock because they're trying to get an easy feed, where if you leave them alone they won't do that.
Yeah.
That perpetuates issues, and then they get hunted more because of that. So it's
Wow.
it's a vicious cycle.
It is, isn't it?
And look, it starts with us. We need to be able to work with dingoes rather than have a mindset that trying to eradicate
Exactly.
them. They help protect all our other species. Without them, we lose all of our natives. So we need them, and we need just to think about things differently. And,
Yeah.
think long term.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they play such a vital role, as you were saying earlier, on the ecosystem. So without dingoes, everything else is affected. So
That's right, yeah.
we should be protecting them.
Absolutely.
So Josh, can you tell me a bit about this awesome area that you have here for the dingoes and the setup and what it's all about?
Yeah, sure. So what we're doing is replicating different environments throughout Australia. So in here, it's a sort of rainforest area.
Okay.
Dingoes come from tropical areas up north,
Yeah.
northern Queensland and whatnot. So we're just putting our native plants in. Got a nice mist system at the top here, so
Yeah.
we're nice and wet.
Nice and cool.
Yeah, so it's just your typical small cut section of our rainforest that we
Yeah.
have. With that also, we've got lots of frogs moving in and lots of insects that helps some of the ecosystem, which is great. Our frogs are becoming vulnerable, so we've actually a lot of frogs breeding here, which is really cool. Then as we come up through this area, it's a little bit drier.
A bit warmer.
Yeah. This is what's known as the Cumberland Plains Zone, which is typical to this sort of Sydney Basin area around Penrith, Lower Blue Mountains.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of clay, rock sandstone. You get your native flowering plants like your bottle brushes, your eucalypt, your wattles, all the things that we're used to seeing, different types of grasses. Again, with that, that helps some of our birds with the flowers and the different seeds that are produced. Got a dam in here. The dam's quite low at the moment. We're draining it out. I'm going to line that with sand and plant all native water plants in there.
And do the dingoes
They
go
jump
swimming?
in, yeah, they love it.
Yeah.
Actually, water's really important for a dingo pack.
Yeah.
In the wild, every pack has a body of water that it utilises.
Sure.
So even here, it's great. They jump in, they swim. It also informs some of their pack structure and how they play and what they do. So it's really important for them. When this is done, I'll have a nice waterfall flowing off this big set of rocks.
Oh my goodness,
So it'll
they
be nice
really
and
looked
fun,
after,
yeah.
aren't they?
Yeah, and again, too, like our frogs breed in there. We've got some fish in there as well. Some silver perch. We'll also use it to rehab turtles that are injured. So again, it'll be like a little mini ecosystem.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do, just sort of show people different things just in this space that we have.
Yeah.
And coming up, getting hotter again.
It is getting warmer.
Then this will be our desert area. So
Wow.
we'll have red earth, desert plants. We're going to do like a bit of a cultural thing here. So it'll be a fire pit, and we'll have some Aboriginal elders coming in, sharing their Dreamtime stories, the significance of dingoes, what it means to their people.
Yeah.
And also with that, it just teaches people a bit like what dingoes are like from a cultural aspect,
Sure.
that they're sacred totems, that Australia should be protecting them, also
Yeah.
out of respect for the Aboriginal people.
So, can you set the record straight for us here today? Tell us the truth about dingoes, why you love them so much, and why you're a huge advocate for them, and what's the truth? Are they good pets? Are they bad pets? What are their beautiful traits that people are missing in?
So the slogan for Dingo Den, which I created, is saving the wild-hearted,
Yeah.
and that's personal. That's what it is to me. So they've got this beautiful wild heart about them, this beautiful wild nature. Now that's not aggression. It's timidity.
Yeah.
It's shyness. It's curiosity. It's intelligence.
And they're very regal, aren't they?
Very
Yeah.
much so. Yeah, they're deep animals, and they build really strong connections, and you just fall in love with them.
Yeah.
And they love you back. They're very loyal. They want to care for you. They check on you. They make sure you're all right. Like they're quite incredible.
Wow.
So the truth of them is that they are companions.
Yeah.
They're not particularly a pet. It's not like a master owner kind of deal. Like a master and a pet kind of deal. It's a partnership,
Sure.
so you need to work with them, and that's what they are. They're companions. People who have dingoes, they never go back to dogs because they're just so different. They just fall in love with them, and that's it. They
Wow.
get stuck with them, and
Yeah.
they never want to go back to a different kind of animal to share their life with.
And that's what happened to you, isn't it? From
Yeah,
a
it
young
has.
age?
Yeah. So to set the record straight, they're beautiful animals. You get out of them what you put into them.
Yeah.
They're not these vicious killers. They can be great in a domestic setting, but you have to know what you're doing. You've got to understand them and work with that wild nature.
Yeah.
You don't want to stamp it out of them. That'll create issues for the animal and yourself. You want to be able to understand it, work with it, and that's diet, forms of enrichment,
Yeah.
just understanding the day-to-day what they're doing. They've got behaviours that aren't dog-like, so you think, well, why are you doing that? Learn about them, understand them,
Sure.
spend some time with them, and before you choose to adopt a dingo.
Yeah.
Friends got dingoes, or you can come volunteer here. You can,
Which is the fun part.
It is, yeah. You get to learn about them, and we have lots of our volunteers done that. They've learned and then they've adopted, which is great because
Wow.
we train them up, and we know they're going into really good homes.
Yeah.
They're an amazing animal. They're an Australian animal.
Yeah.
So where you can have them as a domestic animal, like as a pet,
Yeah.
why not?
Why not?
If they're bred in captivity and they need a home,
Yeah.
if they're displaced and we've got nowhere to put them, we need this solution for the time being.
Sure.
My ideal is you have Australia where it's safe for dingoes,
Yeah.
and then dingoes live in the wild and they do their thing. But at the moment we're still in a compromise, and they need places to go. So it's either we let the species die out or we do something about
Yeah.
it, and that's what we're doing.
And we step up to help them. And
That's right.
obviously, Dingo Den is doing amazing things. So it's a testament to the work and dedication that you've done. So for people watching, not only in Australia but around the world, how can they help? What can they do to be an advocate for the dingo, and ways that they can, step in and
Sure.
help you guys?
Look, locally, if you're around Sydney, or you can come here, you can volunteer, you can help out with the dingoes. If you're living interstate, we're creating a network of foster carers and just general people who want to advocate for dingoes. So you can contact us and get involved in that program that we're
Sure.
doing across the country. If you're international, it's the same kind of thing, advocating for dingoes on a larger platform. Globally, they're
Yeah.
recognised as a vulnerable species. So the world seems to know what they're about. Australia we don't seem
Doesn't
to
want to
understand.
recognise it.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
So it's great if we've got international people kind of advocating for them and kind of, putting a little bit of a bit of pressure and advocacy for them to go, hey, let's get these guys protected, let's do something about it. So people can jump on our website, which is www.dingoden.net. You can sign up to volunteer. You can sponsor a dingo, so you can take care of it for its life, which if you can't own one, you can sponsor
That's
one.
Incredible.
Yeah, and you can see their life journey as they grow, which is great. You can donate. You can. That's money. That's goods to try and help out what we're doing here with the sanctuary. If you've got land and you want to donate a space of land so we can help create other sanctuaries, that'd be fantastic.
Okay.
So there's a whole
there's so many ways that we can help.
Just limited to our imagination.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I highly recommend, if you are based in Australia, to come here and to check out the amazing work that Josh is doing and to spend a day or more with the dingoes, because they are incredible animals and it has been such a joy to be here.
Cool. Thank you so
no
much.
worries.
You're very welcome to be here.
Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome.
Well, a massive thanks to Pascale Terry of World Animal Warriors, who did a beautiful report for Greenwell TV. Check out her channel. She's fantastic. She's a real hero for animals. And I guess all of you out there can agree that Joshua said of Dingo Den Rescue for these beautiful dingoes down in Australia is doing an incredible job to help these persecuted animals. If you would like to find out more about the work that Joshua does at Dingo Den, then please check out his website at www.dingoden.net. If you enjoyed this episode of Animal Watch, then please give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel by hitting that little button that you can see down there in the bottom corner. And join me next week as I bring you weekly episodes of fantastic programs on dogs, on wolves, on animal rescue and conservation. Bye for now.